Hello and welcome to TRTV. Watch this broadcast anytime on the 106th Rescue Wing Facebook page or our YouTube channel.
As we continue to combat the COVID-19 virus, you will notice some new protocols on base. Prior to entry, you will be required to have your temperature taken at the gate. Additional temperature scans may occur throughout the duty day. Anytime you leave your workstation, you'll be required to mask up. Please do your best to maintain at least 6 feet of distance between yourself and other members when possible. Continue to remain diligent with your personal hygiene and sanitize your work area. For more detailed information, please be sure to view our COVID-19 public health message on our YouTube channel.
Hello, Wing. Hopefully everyone is as excited as I am to get back to our mission, saving lives. Last month, I was driving through the gate and I noticed the sign, 2,974 lives saved to date. To me, a life saved is a life saved, whether that is preventing a suicide or providing medical care that keeps someone and their family safe. How can we put a number to the lives that have been impacted by the courageous work of our airmen during this crisis? Lives saved by people being able to have the knowledge to protect their families and themselves thanks to your efforts. Those Americans that died during this pandemic being given our full measure of dignity, honor, and respect by our mortuary affairs team. Even though it takes everyone in this wing to accomplish our mission, many times it's our operational squadrons at the tip of the spear. This last mission is completely different. Instead of the 101st, 102nd, and the 103rd being the tip of the spear, it was our silent professionals from Mission Support Group, the Medical Group, Maintenance Group, and our Operational Support Squadron. And one of the largest crises of our nation has ever had to deal with, Joint Task Force 1 became the tip of the spear for this COVID-19 response. My concern as your command chief is how do we quantify and document the impact all of you had during this mission. One number that comes to mind is 69,742. That is how many COVID tests we have conducted to date. To do this testing takes an enormous amount of effort and coordination with civilian agencies, but it also puts our airmen on the front line and in harm's way. But how do we document the impact our airmen and mortuary affairs had? Finding a dignified way to deal with the fallen during this crisis was a gut-wrenching task and a job I would not want to do. But 4 of our airmen from FSS stepped up and supported our community when it was needed most. I have always been very proud to be a member of the Guard, but what Colonel Killian and Joint Task Force 1 have accomplished during this epidemic has taken my personal pride and our nation's pride to a new level.
In Air Force news, the Air Force has flown all 3 of its bomber aircraft on multiple long-range missions to Europe from their home bases in the United States. The flights were intended to show that the Air Force's ability to carry out complicated simultaneous missions have not been impaired by the coronavirus pandemic. The flights were carried out so the U.S. Strategic Command can demonstrate the readiness and global reach of its long-range strategic bombers, the Air Force said, and were coordinated with Combat Command and components across the world. This dynamic employment of long-range bombers and supporting aircraft showcased the United States' ability to conduct synchronized strategic deterrence anywhere in the world with a ready lethal force, the Air Force said in the release on the flights. Despite the continued outbreak of COVID-19, we are committed to our mission in all domains, air, sea, land, space, cyber, and to the readiness of our allies and partners. The health of our team has always been a top priority from the start of our COVID response and is the key to sustaining missions like the Bomber Task Force. Although mitigation efforts create a challenge to overcome, our allies, partner, and adversaries should make no mistake that we are ready, able, and willing to deter and defend when called upon. United States Air Force European Command General Jeffrey Harrigan said in the B-1 release. In National Guard news, almost 47,000 soldiers and airmen from the National Guard are activated to help fight COVID-19 in the Guard's largest domestic response effort since Hurricane Katrina in 2005. As the Air Guard begins its 3rd month responding to the pandemic, our effort to focus mainly on COVID-19 testing sites and distributing medical supplies and food. In April, Guard members packaged, served, and delivered more than 44 million meals to those in need, while also transporting more than 34,000 tons of bulk food to support food banks and other community-based programs. The Guard also provided provided about 600 liaison officers facilitated communications with state and local agencies seeking assistance and support. Army Command Sergeant Major Brian Webb, the senior enlisted leader with the North Carolina Army National Guard's 60th Troop Command and a liaison officer with state officials, said Guard members have a stake in what happens in their community. We bring our civilian skill set into a military environment, he said. That plays a tremendous part in our success. In local news, last wing, the wing honored healthcare and frontline workers leading the battle on COVID-19 with a flyover by one of our HC-130J Combat King II aircraft and 2 HH-60 Pave Hawk helicopters, soaring above hospitals such as Peconic Bay Medical Center, Stony Brook Medical Center, and NASA University Medical Center. Images and videos of the event were shared on social media. A 12-year-old student pilot with 45 hours under his belt who just celebrated his birthday had the opportunity to speak with the aircraft commander from the flyover mission, Major Richard Bloom. During their conversation, the aspiring pilot and the major discovered they not only had the love of flying in common, but also shared a recent birthday. The aircrew enjoyed the unique opportunity they had to connect with the community on an already extraordinary mission. Great to connect with our community and possibly a future C-130 or HH-60 pilot.
Hello there! We're going to be deployed tomorrow at 0400 hours with a team of 36 people. We'll be gone 23 days. Please don't tell anyone, since this mission gives us a tactical advantage. And if someone were to ambush us when we arrived on March 22nd behind enemy lines, we would all be vulnerable.
You wouldn't tell everyone in public about your deployment details.
That is all.
Why would you tell everyone on the internet?
Please stand by for a word from the commander.
Here now are the Commander's talking points for sexual assault prevention and response for 2020.
Sexual assault is inconsistent in our Air Force core values. The Department of the Air Force, SAPR, Sexual Assault Prevention and Response mission is to educate, advocate, and collaborate to stop sexual assault and to provide direct response service to victims of the sexual assault. The Air Force will ensure response services are gender-inclusive, culturally competent, and recovery-oriented.
SAPR services are available 24/7 for all locations, including deployed locations. SAPR personnel will ensure victims are protected, treated with dignity and respect, and receive timely access to appropriate medical treatment and services. Installation or host wing commander provides functional oversight of local SAPR program, ensuring immediate response capability exists to support victims.
Sexual assault is defined as intentional sexual contact characterized by force, threats, intimidation, abuse of authority, or when the victim does not or cannot consent.
Consent is defined as a freely given agreement to the conduct that issued by a competent person. An expression of lack of consent through words or conduct means there is no consent. Lack of verbal or physical resistance does not constitute consent.
Submission resulting from the use of force, threat of force, or placing another person in fear does not constitute consent. A current or previous dating, social, or sexual relationship by itself, or the manner of dress of the person involved with the accused in the conduct at issue shall not constitute consent. A sleeping, unconscious, or incompetent person cannot consent. Consent cannot be assumed. If you are unsure about consent, always ask and wait for an affirmative response. Stop unless you have explicit permission to continue.
These behaviors may constitute one or more criminal offenses under the Uniform Code of Military Justice and/or applicable state, federal, or foreign jurisdictions' criminal law. UCMJ sexual assault offenses are listed in the Manual for Courts Martial under Articles 120, rape, sexual assault, aggravated assault, contact, and abusive sexual contact, and 120B, sexual abuse of a child. Attempts or conspiracies to commit such acts are also punishable under Article 80 and Article 81. Other sexual or related offenses under the UCMJ include Articles 93A, prohibited activities with recruits/trainees, 117A, wrongful distribution, broadcast of intimate images, 120A, obscene mail, and 120C, other sexual misconduct, and 130, stalking.